Who should I invite to my decision? That is an excellent question. And unfortunately, it's a question that isn't asked often enough. Too often we make all our decisions with the same groups of people. The management team, at the Monday morning department meeting, with the marketing team. And the problem with that is that often there's a lot of people in the room who just aren't interested. They're bored. They're wasting their time. And there are people in the room who might be interested, but they don't really have the right knowledge or expertise to provide good input to a particular decision. And then third, there's the people we didn't invite who are angry because they've been left out. So in order to make a good decision, you need to think about who you want to invite to that decision. Now there are two factors to keep in mind. One is if you want a quality decision, and two is if you want your decision accepted. Those are two separate things. Today we're only going to focus on who to invite to make a quality decision. Now the best way to think about this is to really break your decisions down into three parts. Because the problem is, oftentimes the people you need to provide input to each of the parts are not the same. So just bringing one decision into the whole one group of people does not necessarily get you what you need. Now let's look at those three parts and you'll see why. Okay, the first part of making a decision is to establish your objectives, establish your decision criteria. What are the limitations, the priorities, the factors that should govern this decision? What are you going to use to sort among the options? Oftentimes these are things like budget and time frames and other priorities, urgencies, interdependencies. So as a result, oftentimes this needs to be determined by the management team, by the people who have the authority to set those priorities or to understand those time frames and limitations. Once you've established your objectives and your decision criteria, the second step is to look at your alternatives. Now, when it comes to alternatives, there are almost always more alternatives than meets the eye. And it's important here to get broader input and get the right kind of input to generate lots of different alternatives so you have good choices. In this case, you might want people with specific expertise, like technical expertise. Or maybe you want the people in the trenches who deal with the problems on a regular basis and are most familiar with what else could be done. The situation will differ depending on the decision you're making, but generally you want a lot of different options, and these clearly aren't necessarily the same people who set the priorities. The third step of decision making is to select among those alternatives to see which one best fits your objectives and your decision criteria. Sometimes this is another set of people, a third group of people who have the best insight into how those alternatives will really shake out and what the risks are involved with each and which one will best meet your decision criteria. So if you want strong decisions, look at the three different parts of your decision process separately and be sure you invite the right people with the right skills, the right expertise, the right knowledge to handle each one at a time. You've been listening to Uncommon Clarity with Ann Latham. If you would like to know how we can help you get better results in half the time, visit us at uncommonclarity.com. Thank you for listening, and good luck with your next decision.